Good to see you. Good to be here. Glad to be alive. It's a beautiful day. We're going to continue our talk on marketing this week. Hello and good morning. Good afternoon, depending on where you're from. Still morning where I'm at technically, but it is good to be here today. We have been talking all week about a very special kind of marketing. It's a marketing that's close to my heart because I love not only helping businesses gain new customers, but I love helping business keep their customers and sell more to their customers and increasing the lifetime value of their customer. My name is Robert Vicola with Romy Interactive. We help business owners and entrepreneurs attract and keep happy customers. Some of you may be wondering why I mention the keep happy customers part. And, many times companies are really, really good at demand generation. They're great. Hey, Lex, glad to have you here. We're talking about retention marketing today and specifically about how to keep happy customers. And, one of the reasons I love the phrase keeping a happy customer is because many times businesses are amazing at generating demand. They're great at advertising. They're great at branding. They get that new client in the door, but that's all they focus on. And over the course of time, they lose those customers pretty easily. Hey there, Lex. Thanks for joining today. So this week we've been talking about retention marketing. And specifically when we're talking about retention marketing, we're really talking about reducing churn and increasing your retention. It's also known as loyalty marketing or lifecycle marketing. If you joined me yesterday, then we talked about onboarding communications. And really when we're talking about lifecycle marketing, we're talking about specific segments within the lifecycle of your customer after they've already purchased one of your products. So, with regards to that, onboarding marketing, if you have a product that you sell on an annual basis, for instance, your onboarding may take up the first 30 days or so of that relationship. But even if you sell a product or a service that they buy on a more regular basis, maybe it's a monthly perspective, or you have a store or a shop, a cafe, a restaurant where they may come in on a more regular basis, retention marketing is still applicable because it's really about taking the relationship that you have built with your customers before they actually bought, and then bringing that forward and building upon that after they've made a purchase. So yesterday we talked a little bit about onboarding, what great companies do as part of their onboarding programs, about how they write simple and effective emails. They welcome their customers. They're very straightforward. They don't try to sell again. And so we're going to take that one step forward. After you've given your customer the tools to be successful, how do you continue to retain them? And so it's equally important when we talk about acquisition. I would say retention marketing is equally important as to acquisition marketing, because you want to make sure that in your bucket of customers that it doesn't spring any leaks, that you're only adding customers in, you're not subtracting them out. And so today I want to talk about a very specific use case for a company that I worked for, where I helped them increase their retention rates from 78% to 90%. That means 90% of their customers were buying more products and were renewing year after year. The company that I worked for was Public Engines. You may have heard me speak about them in one of my previous videos, but Public Engines is a software company. They provide products to law enforcement agencies that allow them to remain in close contact with the communities that they serve, and also allows them to get more information out of their data sets, out of their crime data, so they can know how to more effectively keep their communities safe. I used to go to these trade shows. There's a trade show, and I'd set up our booth. We had a fairly large booth. It was a 20 by 30, and we had sales stations on the corners. And our salesperson, their job all day long was to intersect new prospects, which primarily were chiefs of police. And they intercept those new prospects, and they would entice them with campaign promotions to sit in and watch a demo of the product. But one year in particular, I continued to hear the same conversation over and over again, and where a customer, not a prospect, would actually come up to our booth, and we'd start showing him a product, and the customer would say something to the effect of, "Oh, yeah, you know what? I actually have your product, and I'm moving on to one of your competitors when our contract is up." And so, of course, that got me thinking, and this is when typically this is our salesperson having the conversation. I'm just kind of listening in as the marketer. But I used to come around the edge there, and I asked that customer. I said, "It's really interesting. I'm curious as to why you're choosing to leave and go to another competitor." And the thing that I heard over and over and over again was, "Well, you know what? I really need these set of features, and you guys don't have that." And they do. And immediately, a light bulb went off. Because not only did we have those features, but we had best-of-breed technology, best-of-breed products, and we couldn't be beat in the market. And in fact, over the course of time, we grew that business, and it was later purchased by Motorola. And so I want to talk to you about how we actually fixed that problem, and we fixed the leaky bucket, and ultimately became much more attractive as an acquisition target. If you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, this is going to be really important to you because you don't want to be spending all of your money and all of your time just to acquire new customers. We learned yesterday that it costs 5 times as much to acquire a new customer than it takes to retain and sell to one of your current customers and build your revenue through your current customer channel. And so, this portion of retention marketing is really, really key. And so this is probably the middle of the life cycle. You moved on from the welcome phase and you're moving into a more mature relationship with your customer. So I've been talking about public engines again. We had the issue, our customers were telling us they're leaving us for a competitor because we didn't have particular feature sets. And it became really clear right off the bat what I needed to do. So I went back to our offices and I started really analyzing every single how every single department interacts with our customers. My job there at the time as the marketer, we were in a phase of rapid growth, was to continually generate demand and continually generate new prospects for our sales folks to call into. And so as I'm doing that and our sales folks are making those sales, they'd pass them off to our customer service and our integration department. But what was happening is once our integration department was integrating their current technologies with our technologies, many times the relationship ended there. And the client had no resources, nothing to go back on to learn about our product, to learn about best practices, to learn how it can benefit them and their department, and how it can really help them make their communities safer. So we did a few things. We implemented, first and foremost, we completely revamped all of our training programs and training materials. We had hired a person who was from that industry, who was a former detective, who loved technology, who had used our products and loved our products. He was a customer advocate, and we hired him into our company. And we worked with him to develop training videos. So first and foremost, we created a series of how-to videos. These are short, they're brief in nature, they're typically anywhere from a 2 to 5 minute video, but they kind of walk through all the features of the products that we had, and we showed our customers in a very tangible way how they could use our products. And not just what the feature does, but how it benefits them and what the value is from a long-term perspective for their organization. Secondly, we implemented a program of training in which they could come on their schedules on a weekly basis. We had webinars, live webinars, where we would present in a common format on a week-to-week basis, and we'd allow them to ask live Q&A questions. This is in a group setting, so they have peers. This is law enforcement organizations, other departments, other parts of the country, potentially even other parts of the world. And they could come into a common format and learn more about best practices in using technology in their law enforcement organization. We also made it available for them to have in-person training, that if they prefer to have a professional come into their organization and teach their entire department how to leverage the tools and what the best practices were, they could do that as well. And then finally, probably the biggest thing that was most effective is that as a company, we decided that we were going to hold in-person statewide trainings in order for two things. One was to teach our current customers how to use the product more effectively, to make it more sticky. We talked about that element yesterday, the element of stickiness, and you want to make your product and communicate about your product in such a way that people really want to come back. They're getting value out of it and they want to come back, they want more of it. So we wanted to make it more sticky. We wanted to build a personal relationship. We may sell to 1 or 2 or 3 people in the organization, but if 20 or 30 people in the organization are using it, we want to build relationships with them as well. And then secondly, we invited prospects to come to these events as well. These are single-day events. So for instance, if it was in Utah, we would have one event for the entire state of Utah. We'd provide breakfast, we'd provide lunch, and essentially we'd have roundtable discussions, we'd have training sessions, we'd have one-on-one talks with our executive staff. We'd have live Q&A questions, and this is really a great way to build credibility in the organization, that they could have first-hand touch with the executives in our company, they could have first-hand touch with the experts that we hired to work with us, and our prospects could have first-hand touch with our clients. Now, the great thing about this event is that the day preceding the event, we would work with a local agency. It would be considered the host agency, and we'd work with them. We'd provide them free in-person training in their offices, and in return, they would host the event, and they would speak and do a keynote before the event. And the great part about this is because they just got this training, we came out, it was all expenses that we took care of. They were more than happy to sing our loud and praises. And that's really what you want your customers to do. That in retention marketing, once you're in this middle phase, you've moved past the welcome, you've moved past the honeymoon phase, that you're providing them continued value throughout the life cycle of the relationship with your customer. And that's really what that program was designed to do for the company that I worked for, Public Engines. And so tomorrow, what I want to talk about is referral marketing. Once you have a happy customer, how do you capitalize on that? How do you grow your business through your happy customer? Not just selling more to them, but getting them to refer you more business. As we mentioned yesterday, it costs 5 times more money to attract a new lead and a new prospect and to sell to that prospect than it does to sell to a current customer. And the same goes to sell to customers or prospects that were referred to you by current customers. So I'm so glad that you came here today, and I hope you learned something. My name is Rob from Romy Interactive. Once again, we aim to teach business owners and entrepreneurs how to attract and keep happy customers with practical marketing advice. If you love the content, please share it, comment in the section. I'd love to know that if you have some use cases yourself, I'd love to know what those are. If you have questions, we can build future videos on that. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow where we talk about referral marketing. You can follow me here on Periscope at Romy Interactive. You can also find me at Romy Interactive on Twitter as well. Thank you so much for joining today, and we'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day.